Hi, this is Gloria Schur with Close to My Heart. I'm an independent consultant, and I'm here today to show you some cards that I created using the new Cricut Artfully scent cartridge. It is a fabulous cartridge. It has a lot of good cards on it, and you can use things on there for other stuff besides cards. But I'm going to tell you a few things. It's got pop-up cards, it's got icons, scenes, scene cards, swing cards, tri-panel cards, sentiment cards, border cards, sleeves, overlay cards, pocket cards, and two sizes of pocket cards, 4x6s and 3x4s. Those are the ones that you use for Picture My Life or Project Life. That's the ones that you use for those to create the scrapbooking albums. And then we also have base envelopes and liners and plain pocket cards, and there's this font on there as well. So the first thing I want to tell you is that there's two handbooks. So you have the regular handbook, which shows you all the different cards that you can make. These are not the only two cards. There are more cards down here, so it shows you more things that you can make down here on the other spots. So that's how I didn't realize that when I first got it. I thought there was only these on the. These are two different ones on the left-hand side. This one's the pop-up card, and this one's usually a slider or some other kind of card. And then you have the assembly card, where it shows you what you how to put it together, and I'll show you that later on one of them that I created. But the first one I created that I really liked. Well, actually, the first one I created was not this one, sorry. The very first one I created off of this cartridge, I was so anxious to get this because of this one. And I know it may not seem fancy or anything to you guys, but this one's a congratulation card. That's the way it comes. But you could use this for everything, every occasion. And what I did was just added a piece of border, which is Martha Stewart's border that I had. It was just a scrap I had, but basically it's a slider card, so you can either use it like this and put a different insert into it, or you can use it like this. And this one just happens to have cut out congratulations because that's the way the original card comes. And that one can be found in your book, on page 33 in the Artfully Sent book. And again, you'd have to cut out your... I've been doing mine on the Cricut Explorer, so it makes it, to me, it's a lot easier because it's all already attached. And all you do is select your colors, or you can unattach it and select your colors. But this one's basically right here under Scene, and it's got the card base here and the inside here. Now, if you want it, and it's preset for 5x7, but I like to make the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that's the card sizes I usually make so far on here. But you could choose any inside. So you could put, to pick any of these others that you see here for the inside. Or you could even take a plain one and do your own, which I've done that already as well. So, anyway, so that's the first card. And again, that's just a congratulations card, and I made it very simple with just the purple and the pink. So, because that's my favorite color. And then I just put bling on it and the border. So that was pretty easy. The second card I made, which I really, really, really love, is this butterfly card. And it comes this way as well. The only thing I did differently was I cut out a sentiment, cut out the border for the sentiment, the icon. And this one actually has a flower cut out on it. So if you use a double sided card, or paper that's got two sides, then you'll see you can just fold it back, and then the back side's also a print. So that's what I love about our Close to My Heart papers. This is brushed, which is one of my favorites. And this one I actually wrote on the Cricut Explorer, but I also, on some of them, I used just a stamp for thanks, and I made 2 of these. But I just put the bling on there and put the sentiment inside. You could even stamp it, or if you have an Explorer, you can have it written in there. I've already done a few with writing. I had one sent to my mother that was just, just telling her I loved her, and it was all written in here rather than having an image or icon in there. So, and then I made envelopes to go with it. There's the envelope. I think these envelopes are fabulous. It's the first time I found envelopes that I mean, it's really easy to make, and it has a liner that you put inside of it before you fold it over. So that's the one that goes with this card. And then I made this next one is the same thing, but it's using brush, but it's turning it the reverse way. So you can see the outside is what the other one was on the front. And this one was stamped with cotton candy. And again, because of the double-sided paper, this when it cuts this out, then you have whatever's underneath there. Now what I did do with some cards, because I didn't like what was underneath there, I actually put a piece of plain cardstock behind it and glued it on there. But one of the suggestions I would make when you're making any of these cards that have something cut out of them, I would take some kind of glue and glue all around on the inside around this picture or whatever it is. If it's a thank you or whatever it says there, I would put that around there underneath, and as well as the edges, before I glued it down, because it sticks better. I mean, it sits better and it looks better and it's closer to the card if you actually glue that first. And again, this is just the butterfly one. And let me see, that one is on page 14 of the Artfully Sent. Here's the butterfly card right here. Let's see if you can see it. And there's two kinds. There's the pop-up one and then there's this one. This is the one I'm showing you right now where it has the flower cut out of it. And you can actually make this again. You can choose a different inside if you don't want that one on your regular, well, for anything. I have used it with this inside and I've used it without. And one of the nice things about it is these little flowers. You can actually use them. I'll show it what it looks like on other cards. The ones that are cut out of the cardstock that you just did that one on. So I've got a lot of those left over. And then I made the envelope to go with this one. So again, it's made with the brushed. You can see it matches there. And the envelopes are the smoothest and they lay down so easily. I am just really impressed with the envelopes on this Cricut Artfully Scent cartridge. And then I just put some of the flat, close to my heart bling on there. I think they're called dots or something. And then the third one I made like that of the butterfly is, again, it's still with the brushed, but I used the green one. And I had this one written, but I made this, you can see I put yellow behind this one because I didn't like the dotted behind it. It didn't look as good. And then the other side is the yellow. So double-sided one really looks good with this. Now you could do some more if you want to this. I just want to make them very simple because I send them to my customers, and I just put a little note inside of these, and then they can use them to give to someone else. And I did make a envelope for that one, but I used it for my mother's. So that one's already been used. And then the next card that I created with this was, and I think I forgot to look these up. Well, here's another butterfly. Sorry, here's one using a different, this is using confetti. So again, it's double-sided, and it's got confetti, and then I found a stamp that says thinking of you and smiling, and I'll put all this on my blog as well so you can see what I use for these. Now this one, I couldn't decide if I liked the background or not, but I decided to leave it. I could have put a different color in there behind that one, but I didn't. So that was another one I made. I didn't make an envelope for that one yet. And then here's another thank you card, which is, again, made with confetti. And I used a different butterfly card just to get these two off of. And that one's also on page 14. You can see it. It's the one that's next to it. And it's a pop-up card, but I just used the two butterflies that are sitting right here for that to use on this card. And this card is a slider card, and I don't remember which one it is. I'll have to look for it. Let me see. It's a slider card, and it is page 4. I didn't have that one looked up, sorry. I was trying to get this all ready. So here's the slider card, and it had dream behind it, as you'll see. Now I made it into a thank you card, and all I did was take a square from the artiste. Actually, yes, a square from the artiste, and made this yellow piece. And then I added the font. I did all this on the Explorer, and I had it cut out thank you, which is kind of hard to see. I made it pretty small because I wanted it to fit in this hole, but I think I could have made it bigger. This is my first attempt to try to do this. I'm new at trying to cut out words or to do anything with these. The slider cards are very simple, very easy. And again, you can either print them, cut them out just exactly like they show there, or you can cut them out and size them yourself. Again, this is a 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. And I just put the little bling on the little butterflies, and there's a thank you card. Now, the next card I made, I was playing with this one. it actually starts out as it's a pop-up card. This is my first pop-up card to make off of this cartridge. I'm not a big pop-up card fan, okay, just to tell you right up front. Some people love them, and I may grow to love them. This has turned out very pretty, but it basically cuts out, on the Explorer again, it cuts out the card base, which was the Gypsy, and then it cuts out all this, and it cuts out the pieces, which was a base for the flower. And this one comes out, the book tells you how to put this together. And then you have a ribbon to add over here. And then I added this sentiment on the inside. But basically what you get is the outside plain, like this, and the inside like this is a pop-up card. And I didn't realize that until I made one. So I took another card that was in there with the same design. This is actually the same design put differently. And I used it and put paper behind the different cutouts. I took the card, and all I did was on the Explorer was to take off the part where it does your fold scoring. So I took that off so it wouldn't score, and I made this card the exact size, the front card the exact size, and then I cut down just the front part that I wanted to put here. And again, if you glue all this down inside first before you put the card down here, as well as the outside edges, it will be stuck better. If you can look at this one, I did not do that on this one, and you can see the edges come up a little bit. And I prefer the edges to be down. I'm pretty picky when it comes to my cards. So that was, I put a little message here, thinking of you and smiling on the inside. I had have a splendid day. But I really like this one, and this is page 37, and it's this card right here, which shows a bouquet on the front of it. Now, when I look at these, I always think that this is the picture on the front, but these on the left are pop-up cards, so it's actually the inside of it. And it took me a long time to figure that out, so of course I wasn't using those. I love the slider cards. I use a lot of slider cards. And one of the easiest ways to use this cartridge is, well, first off, let me tell you, the Artfully Sent, the second handbook, this is where it shows you what to do for that card I just made. It tells you to fold that in the middle and to pop this one piece out that's to make it a pop-up card, and then you'll put your piece over it to cover it, and that's what it makes it pop out. So it's pretty simple. You just glue this piece that they cut out for you into your base card, which they also cut out for you, and then they also cut out these two pieces. So it's all there on the Explorer, and you'll have to do it individually on your own card, I mean on the other machines, but it's pretty simple. And for me, if I can do a pop-up card, anybody can do a pop-up card, because like I said, this is my first one to ever do like this. But what I started to say is, you can go on my blog, and I have a notebook that I have put together, because there's this wonderful lady, and her name is Narelle, and she has actually made us all of the codes on Cricut, because she works for Cricut somehow. I don't know how she's associated with them, but like for the Artfully Sent, here's this one. Now there's a couple of them I found that were not correct, but I don't know what happened on those, and she's going to correct them. But I just printed off her pages, and you can go on my blog on the right hand side in the border there and look for Cricut Explorer, and it will give you these codes. And you go into insert images and just leave it on all images, type in the number sign with the code, which like this one's MFCAC1. You type that in and click enter or return, and it will pull up that card for you. Now in Explorer, these cards are all in one. They're all together. All the pieces are. So what you have to do is click see, I can't remember what the word is. You want to undo all those. So it's right in the right hand corner. I can't remember the word, sorry. The right hand side, down in your bottom of that thing that pops up to tell you what it separates all of them. So I can't think of the word, so sorry. But anyway, it separates them for you, and then you can move them around. But you want to size your card to the size you want it first. You do not want to move them around until you size that card to what you want it to be. Otherwise, you won't be able to remember. And I accidentally cut one. My first card where I cut out the size that showed up there, and it shows up like a 2x3 or 3x3. So all these codes are in here, are on my blog. If you go and look under Cricut Explorer and then go to her webpage, and she's gotten all those codes for us. And then it's easier to use those codes, or you can just scroll through when you bought the, once you bought the Cricut Artfully Scent, you can scroll through and choose things that way as well. But I found it easier to do this and to get, you know, to be able to get each picture individually of what I wanted to cut out. So I found that easier to do. So again, this is the Artfully Scent, and you get 2 handbooks. The one's to show you how to put it together, and the other one is the regular handbook. So if you have any questions, please leave me a message or email me, comment, message me, text me, phone me, however you would like to do it, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And thank you, and have a fabulous day. Bye.